Hello and welcome to another CallumElston.com video where I help you decide what you should do with your loyalty scheme affiliation and how you can really get the best out of those loyalty schemes. Today, covering one of the topics I covered a lot on this channel, Virgin Points, and whether you should buy or not buy into their latest offer. But not to be presumptuous, but to give you a bit of a lowdown, Virgin Atlantic Flying Club is the loyalty scheme of Virgin Atlantic. I've got a whole playlist of videos which you can watch up there. But in short, you can earn and redeem points on Virgin Atlantic, both through flying and non-flying activities, including buying points, and spend those on Virgin flights, as well as those of their partners like Delta, Air France KLM, and tons of other airlines. There's Scandinavian Airlines, Vietnam Airlines, to name but a few. And my favorite, ANA, which I reviewed last week. So what's the big deal? There is an up to 70% bonus that you can get on Virgin Atlantic Flying Club, Virgin Red, Virgin Points, which you can earn by buying points through the scheme. And here's how it splits out. So below 5,000 points, there's zero bonus. Up to between 5 and 24, there's 20%. 25 to 69, kind of ironic for an airline named Virgin, 40% bonus. 70 to 124, 60% bonus. And then finally, 125 to 200,000 points, there's a 70% bonus. And those points are quite easy to work out how much it costs, £15 per 1,000 points. So we couldn't do a video on this topic without going through some numbers. And here they are. So on that bottom layer, 75 quid, 1.5p per point. That's sort of the standard rate. With the 20% bonus, assuming the upper limit of 24,000, £360 or 1.25p per point. Then we go down, and in the lowest price at the maximum amount, you'd earn 340,000 points, costing £3,000, a lot of money, but at a very good rate of 0.88p per point, and generally about 1p per point is considered a good deal. So you're getting an excellent deal here. However, does this deal make sense? Well, really, it depends on you and your flying habits. Some people will look at this and go, why would I do that? Others will look at it and say, that is a bargain. And historically, Virgin, prior to the pandemic, didn't really give these sort of bonuses. Only since then, I think the maximum was 100%, 70%. It's a very good deal that they're offering. I'll just caveat this by saying never, ever buy points speculatively, and only buy if you intend to use these as soon as possible. This is because the airlines, particularly with Virgin Atlantic now, dynamically pricing their award tickets. You don't quite know if you're going to get a great deal by using these points. And I'll actually go and show you a example now on as to why this could be an amazing deal or why this might not be such a good deal. So before I move on, a quick shout out to this website, vseats.io. I saw it on a Head for Points a comment section article, and it's actually a great tool. It's so much better than any of the tools that Virgin Atlantic have on showing all the prices between destinations, all the different pricing. It doesn't cost a penny. I would say if you do use it and you get good value out of it, please donate to the creator of this, because it is actually a really well-made tool. And it's so simple and easy to use. You just put in your origin, destination, your date range, and then it shows you all the best prices. And you can see here that dynamic pricing at play. You know, you've got economy there on that first line, 37,000 points, the same as upper class. And premium is like what, under 50% of the price. That is a great view. That's Virgin. Their systems are just not very well designed, as you would have seen in my other videos. So let's take a look at an example, London to Riyadh, since that's one I have looked at recently. So let's take a return flight, 37,000 out, 47,500. That is 84,500 points. You would just need to buy 61,000 points, which triggers a 40% bonus at the cost of £915 for those points. And on that point, that gives you about 85,000 points. So you'd have a few spare after that. Then you have to pay for your tax and fee, which is about 800 quid in 800, 900 pound in total. So this return flight would be about 1,800 pound in upper class. And I would note that all of these flights to Riyadh are operated with the A330neo, so one of their best seats in the fleet. Now that is a lot of money, But it's worth noting that the cash prices for these return flight tickets on Virgin Atlantic is all over £6,000 on every day, uh, which is an extortionate amount. Um, Comparatively, Saudia on a direct routing is about, I think it came out about £4,000, which again is absolutely ridiculous, but just gives you a feel for if you needed that, you can get some pretty outsized value here. And there's no degradation in service. You're not treated any differently on board. You get the same baggage allowance. You don't get treated differently. The only thing is you still actually earn some tier points on a points booking. You just don't earn any Virgin points themselves. Now, this isn't to say this is always great value, and this is the problem going back to this dynamic pricing. As you can see, it's on some of them dates, you've got pricing now to 220,000 points one way in upper class. Some dates are 37. That's a crazy difference, but shows what the problems are with this system. And if we take one of them examples, say 37,000 points out, 170,000 on the return, 207,000 points total. So you could buy 125,000, get a 70% bonus. That costs you about £1,900. And in total, with taxes, that trip will cost you £2,800. So again, under half the cost of a return for a single person. But still, you're getting great value there compared to that cash ticket price. But I wouldn't say it's necessarily the best decision. Me personally, I wouldn't be spending that much, even with the award ticket pricing with Virgin points on a return flight that's about 7 to 8 hours long. It's too much, and Virgin are charging extortionate amounts for these flights. What I would be doing though is comparing this to a cash ticket with another airline, and it's worth considering that on this type of routing between London and Riyadh, you can get a return on Egypt Air, not the best airline in fairness, just over £1,000. So it's more comparative with that cheaper ticketing price that we had. Equally, you could go on quite a well-reviewed airline, which is ITA Air, connecting through Italy or Lufthansa through Germany for about £2,000, which are probably more comparative. And you will assess for yourself whether what's the best decision. But this is the point. My advice is do your maths first before making a booking. Um, and this is the whole point of not buying speculatively, even if it does look like a great deal. If you don't have a use for it, then don't buy them. Frankly, a deal will come along within every couple of months. If you can wait it out until you've got something to spend them on. And really, Virgin Atlantic. And you'll see this in one of my upcoming videos. I was quite disappointed with the service that was offered. I ended up on a 787 Dreamliner. It was a very poor experience. Staff were great, food was okay, but that seat was awful. And the risk, even on the Riyadh route, of perhaps being put on a 787 with that coffin seat is too great. So I would really recommend you work out whether you can get good use of these points with the bonus first of all, before actually going ahead buying them and not being able to get a refund on them. Whatever your consumer duty, your consumer rules in the marketplace would say, you don't get a refund on these points. So that's it for this video. What do you think of this offer from Virgin Atlantic for their Virgin Points bonus? I think it's okay. I won't rush out there to buy them myself, but do let me know down in the comments what you think. Do you think there was some good value in that them redemptions I showed you there, or would you just stay clear? Please drop me a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be sort of going between these more informational, laid back videos one week and then more formal reviews the following week, just so it's a bit more easy to manage with my normal job. But yes, thank you so much for watching. I will catch you next time, and very happy flightings if you are traveling very soon. Thank you. Bye bye.